What an insane, crazy, spectacular NXT, man. Listen, everybody basking Keith Lee's glory. Oh, kinda. We got a whole bunch of things. Pete Dunne, Mia Yim overacting. But we're going to talk about all that and more coming up right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz
Yeah. I got my fellas here with me. Welcome everybody to the NXT at the Buzz at the show. Man, Evan T. Mack in the building. Old Coco Cena, you know what I mean. Go old Coco Cena, man. Chocolate version of Coco Cena, man. Well, I don't even know, man.
You got chocolate?
I have my Red Bull, man. I'm running on fumes. But with that being said, everybody in the chat, I appreciate you guys as usual, man. You guys are amazing. I love y'all so much. So I want to shout all y'all out. I will get to specifics in a minute. But with that being said, I'm going to kick it to my favorite sharecropper over there. Listen to that, man. Look at that, man. Well dressed, perfect hair. Perfect everything. Jack don't crack. He's literally 77 years old.
Yeah, it's true.
Jack Farmer, what's good, baby?
The Hall of Farmer. I am so glad to be here. Always fun on NXT. I think we've got a good show coming up.
I do too. And right next to my man, the myth, the legend, New York's finest, with the only man that owns an Apollo Crew shirt on this hemisphere. Flo Bito, my man,
it's
the
vintage.
DJ extraordinaire.
What's going on?
FloBito.com. What's good,
Shout out to Charlene. It's a birthday and Zeno Hour who says
Boot
Coco
Thang.
Lantern is in the house.
Yo, what up? What's on Boot Thang, Charlene? Happy birthday, Boot Thang.
Woo!
Let's get it started, y'all. I'm gonna start up right at the gates, man. We had the Genius in the Sky, Io Shirai. First, some new talent, Cammy Fields, new crop. I want to get your thoughts on the new crop. It was barbecue chicken, though. She beat the brakes off of it. But I want you to get your thoughts on the new crop. Cammy, real quick. Io Shirai still just doing her thing. Like, did the fake pen. Like, I ain't ready to beat it yet. I still got some more left in the tank. Just give me y'all thoughts. FloBito.com.
I was going to say, it's pretty funny that Mara was like, 1, 2, what's she doing? I have no idea. Io Shirai is top of her game, and it shows, man. I was like, man, you're going to hit her all on the head like that. Damn. Poor girl, she was sacrificed, but it was a good way to start the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love Io Shirai. I love any heel 101 stuff, like the pulling him up at 2 count. I love
checking
that stuff.
the boxes.
Just love that stuff. And so I love the submission finisher is cool. Man, I don't know who I want to see Io Shirai face next, because I want to see her just beat everybody. I love her.
I was asking you all fair. I'll ask you both, you gentlemen. It was kind of different things, kind of about the Undisputed Era. But where do you see Io? What's Io's ceiling, Jack?
Main event star. I think you put the rocket on her. I think she's great. I don't know about as a face. I guess I've said before, she was under my radar completely.
Seriously.
As a face.
Me too, bro.
But as soon as she turned heel, man, done. Just, yeah, she could be on the main roster feuding with Becky Lynch, and I'd say that's right.
What say you?
I can't say that only because we're seeing what happened with Shinsuke Nakamura with the language barrier. So she has the talent to be the main event, no problem. But without that mouthpiece right now, I see her definitely in the mix, but I wouldn't see her main eventing quite yet.
Chat, what say you? We'll come back to it. I want to ask the chat, and we'll double back and Jack just check and see what they say. Chat, what do you say about the ceiling of Io Shirai? Where do you think she could be? What's her highest that she can go, and where would you like to see her go? But with that being said, we got a quick Pete Dunne interview, the Bruiserweight. Does what he does, man. Cut a nice little promo, talking about all kinds of things, talking about his feelings and emotions, man. Listen, Pete Dunne, one of my favorite wrestlers in the business.
There's
not much to talk about, but I just want to get you guys' thoughts on where do you want to see him? Where could you see him? Is it NXT UK forever? Is it NXT? Is it because they're about to move to USA? Is it WWE? Where do you see him? Raw, SmackDown, what do you see?
Pete Dunne has to be the NXT UK ambassador. He doesn't have to be on the brand all the time, but be able to go to NXT or go to SmackDown and go back to NXT UK. I love that brand. I mean, I watched the episode today. There's great talent there, but it definitely is on an island, and Pete Dunne can be that crossover star within the company to show that brand has some value.
Well said.
Yeah, he's such a good example for NXT UK, and I think he's so good at getting people to tune in over there, but I think he can do so much more. He's got that he's got such a legit, scary tough guy look
Agreed.
that is you can't build into people. He just, if you're at a bar and he's sitting on one side of the bar, you're like, I'm gonna go sit on the other side of the bar because he looks like the kind of guy that's gonna mess you up. He's
Got a fur vest on, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's something about a guy with a fur vest on, man. But like I said, you know, we talked about, I told you, if I was in the Middle England, jolly old England, shout out to Monge, if I was in England, man, and somebody wanted to get all rough with old Mackie, you know, Mackie sitting back and listen, man, I'm just a tourist, man. I'm just a humble tourist, man. I'm just a humble tourist in London. I ain't got no problems. I want to hurt nobody. And they was like, no, I want to fight. I'm like, yo, Pete Dunne, man. Yo, can you take care of my light work? I literally would feel confident that he would get the dub over anybody.
True.
He's soccer hooligan 101, man.
yeah.
But yeah, Pete, he's one of those guys, throwback guy. I love that guy. Young man, too, 25, fresh legs, man. I don't
25?
know.
I didn't know that.
25 years
Okay,
old,
yeah, he
bro.
put a lot of years on it too.
And so, yeah, we'll see what happens, bro. But, yeah, speaking of, I got another montage, Kushida. I just want to run through these montages because I know they do them for a reason, so I want to talk about them. So just give me thoughts on his rise and the same question. What's Kushida's ceiling?
You know, Kushida is one of those people that I think it's a bad example because we talk about who should be the next contender for the NA championship or the NXT title. He's been pushed super hard for months, and we never remember that he's someone who should be contending. I always forget he's on the roster. But whenever he's on, he wins. They push him like he's a big deal, but then you just forget he's even there. So I don't know. I don't know how high his ceiling is because I keep forgetting he's even part of the roster at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. He has these matches where he goes over these one-offs, and that's great. But I know we just talk about having the right feud and storyline helps build people, and that could be anybody on the roster. But I think Kushida needs it more than anyone because he has that legacy from Japan. They imported that story as part of his character. He needs to show people long form what he can do.
So does he run into the same problem that Shinsuke can run into? Do you think, or is he separating himself? Because that's my only problem. People think I'm not being critical over anybody over there. That's like my favorite country to visit, Tokyo and Japan in general. But that's my fear is the language barrier and connecting with the mainstream crowd.
Yeah.
We know he can go. It's not about that.
Only because I don't think that's the case. Only because his gimmick is a little bit more like family friendly and has that time traveler thing. I know it's a bad comparison, but when Yoshitatsu got himself over being very like animated and happy to be there, everyone was all about it, and he didn't say a word of English. So I think that the one thing he has over Shinsuke is that he's a either Back to the Future or Time Splitters to kind of mix time cop. It all mixes together.
Fair.
I don't know if that translates to most viewers. When I see him, I don't think he's a time splitter person.
You don't?
I don't.
Damn
I mean,
it,
Full disclosure, I just found that out right now.
I have no idea.
Where's the orange vest, man? Look at his merch.
You know, and
I'm
so,
sorry.
Stargate.
But that's the thing is if I'm a booker, I'm like I could either push Nakamura or Kushida. I Nakamura every day. I don't see the point.
I didn't know that's what he was. I'm sorry.
Damn,
I'm sorry.
Isn't that the point though? We don't even know what his thing is.
You
He's
not
just
see Back to the Future 2, the best time travel movie of all time?
It is by far though.
Okay, I'm saying. I'm a little mad.
So this was based on that?
I think a lot of his gimmicks now, he has...
Flux capacitor?
Yeah.
Why isn't his finishing move called the flux capacitor?
Which would be disgusting. Oh, he'd be my favorite wrestler in history.
Yeah.
Like he like threw you through a time portal.
Yeah.
If he came,
You actually go. He throws you and you come back old and you're.
if he came out in a DeLorean, I would say he's the best. He's better than Hulk Hogan.
That's like Mortal Kombat level. What is that?
I'm sorry, I'm thinking outside the box,
The
man.
flux capacitor.
It ain't mine. I'm trying to. Me and Jack trying to fix his shit.
They need us.
We're doing a favor here.
But what about rights and copyrights? We don't care.
We don't
We'll
care.
cross that bridge when we come to it. No. So we got. We got Keith Lee, and there's a whole Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic. Listen, that's shout out to your boy Jim. That's his guy.
Yeah.
He feels he's not like another Cesaro waiting to happen.
My boy.
I'm glad he's healthy and he's back. His injury didn't last as long as I thought it would, which is very important to me. I'm glad I don't like to see any wrestler go down because of injury.
Yeah.
But there's a whole lot of things to unpack with Keith Lee, and I want to get started because some things getting on my nerves, man. I got this dude over here named Flobo, Flobito.com.
That's me.
Man. Yeah, that's me, Flobo Boyce. You know what I mean?
That's me, yeah.
He got a
Every week I say it.
serious beef with Keith Lee's track. Now listen,
It's not a track. It's crap. It's garbage. It's terrible. He's a great. I love him as a wrestler and a performer.
I am not like a hip hop connoisseur.
Yes, you are. You're Mac
I
Lish.
do know a whole lot of rap, but listen, I do a whole lot of rap, but I don't know.
So photogenic.
All I ain't talking about my stuff. Man. My stuff is a little bit, you know what I mean? It's for the people, man.
Okay.
You know? But what I'm trying to say is, you got a lot of beef, man. First, I need you to explain why you got beef. Second of all, I need you to say if you got anything better. You got anything better? Bask in his glory.
I'm just saying, bask in his glory is kind of superiorous. That's an
Bask in
SAT.
his glory.
That's fine. But then he goes to a whole rap and be like, I'm Keith Lee. Come back with the better you. It's terrible. It's garbage. I think I can do better. I know I can do better.
But the proof is in the pudding. I don't like people that talk like they can do stuff, but without
Yeah,
proving it. Though.
look, man, I
the
don't
proof
like-
is in the pudding. You say you can do better, then do better. Until you got a track on the par of the great Keith Lee, then you can talk to me.
You know what, Right Guy? Are you in the booth?
I'm in the booth, Mayor.
Okay, all right. So this guy over here,
hell no.
Coco Cena, Coco Lantern, don't think there's a song good enough. Can you play that track I have for you, please?
Right here, right now.
Right now.
Don't you know?
Bask in his glory, son. What? Yeah. It's dope, isn't it? You like it. Say you like it.
Flobito!
Flobito. What? That's what I'm talking about.
I gotta admit, it ain't as bad as I thought it would be. I will be.
Here's the chorus.
I will
Don't you know?
There's more?
Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Going to NXT next week.
So, chat, what say you? I'll kick it to the chat. I got nothing. I'll kick it to the chat. Chat roll. Bask in his glory or the Flobito song.
That's right.
We will decide. Jack, please keep a mental tally and see who wins at the end of this show.
I think I.
What's the answer? What's the answer?
Just held it or not. Oh my goodness. That's terrible.
Bask in his
I'm
glory.
done. LOL.
Nah, whatever.
Yeah, you know what?
Y'all haters though. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying the people have spoken. I'm a fan of the
Whatever.
people. I'm like Dwayne, man. People's champ, man. Listen, I just listen to the people. All I'm trying to say is they think that track's a little better.
All right, whatever.
Oh,
I
bask
think
in
you
his
should at the
glory.
end of the show now say Flobito.com.
Yeah.
Henceforth, listen, I didn't think it was that bad personally, but the people have spoken.
I guess so.
So we had this match, which I think was the match of the night, stole the show, was a pleasant surprise.
Fantastic.
It was an amazing match, truly was. Keith Lee's in a bit of a slump. It's weird. It's like they taken the brass ring from him. He lost to Damian Priest, and now he's lost to Dominic in convincing fashion. No protecting, no DQs, no countouts, no none of that.
So like
nonsense.
he was dead.
Taking the L. Shout out to Keith Lee for being one of the most agile big men I've ever seen with the Spanish Fly. Unbelievable. Avalanche Spanish Fly for 300-pounder from the top rope is unbelievable. Anybody that think it's not, don't try this at home. You know, WWE said don't try this at home, but just mentally try it at home. It's very hard. Even in your mind, it'd be hard to do. Great match. Took the L. Flobito.com.
What's up?
What say you?
It was the right result. Dominic Dijakovic needed the win coming off the injury. Want to establish the fact that he's a true player in the mix. The only problem is, like you said, Keith Lee has that slump. So even though it was the right decision, it was still hurt to watch because Keith Lee so like he was shot. He didn't move. He wasn't like you rolled me up. It was like he was dead. So it was a bit of pill to swallow.
Jackie.
Yeah, I've said before I love Keith Lee, but he's definitely getting into Samoa Joe territory of big guy who seems credible but just always loses. I really wanted to see him get the win here. Flobo, as you mentioned, it makes sense. The result makes sense. I'm disappointed by it. I think Dominic's a Cesaro waiting to happen. I'm not big on him.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
It's nothing against him, and then it's nothing against Cesaro.
Right.
It's just what happened to him.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what he does next. He seemed very he reminded me of very like late 90s generic heel where he has a very basic look. He looks like a heel, but a very basic look. And he doesn't do anything that really stands out as, oh, that's a really cool thing. I mean, I like his little Cyclone Big Boot. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Dope.
But that was really cool. But I mean, even in this match, it felt like the star of the match was Keith Lee. Him doing the Spanish Fly off the top rope.
Cheese and crackers.
I mean,
the crowd. Bask in his glory.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if you were to take that match and replace one of them with someone else, Keith Lee versus whoever and they do all the same things, or Dominic versus whoever and they do all the same things.
It's Keith Lee.
I would much rather have seen Keith Lee in that spot.
That's strong. That's a strong thought.
So if it was like Dominic Dijakovic and it was that match with Ono in there, you'd be like, this is stupid.
I got a point.
But if it was Keith Lee, you'd be like, oh, this is still good.
So based on what you're saying though, then what's next for Keith Lee though? What's his ceiling? This is the what's his ceiling and what's her ceiling episode? Because I'm curious, man.
Yeah.
Because we're getting to these spots with these people that have been around for a little bit, where you can ask, where do you see the big move coming? Where do you guys see? Damn it, both of them.
Yeah. Where what I would like is a lot more for Keith Lee, but what if I was to buy stock in Keith Lee? If Keith Lee was a stock, I would say losing in a North American title match is his like that's.
Damn, that's rough.
What about you?
I think that
Because his theme song is fire. Let's get that out the way.
No, it's not,
I'm
man.
tired of you.
I want to say that for Dominic, that Feast or Ice stuff won't get over. He's still kind of generic for me. But if they really want to, Keith Lee can be the face of the NXT brand because he has that charisma. He can do the Today Show or those kind of things and still do it. But as far as the NXT title division, I see him there too. I don't think he'll have the world title division if that's NXT title is going to be the Adam Cole show for now. So,
Dang. Huh. Interesting.
I mean, again, just to say, I would love for him to get pushed more. But who was the last person Keith Lee beat?
I can't. I'm drawing a blank. Help me out, Chad.
Bosa in there? Bosa, who's the last person he beat? Bosa, I know you're in there.
On TV, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear like the house show.
The house
Yeah,
show.
the house show.
They were in St. Paul. But no. So we
No, we go to St. Paul.
So we got a Jimmy G, Johnny G. I'm thinking about Garoppolo. Football's getting close. I'm sorry. Y'all.
Okay.
Lord, I told you I ain't had my rib. I'm sorry, y'all. Thinking about Garoppolo, man. Like the boy better not mess up this year because of all that money he got. But anyways, listen. Johnny G montage, long montage, huge package. Literally, like it's like they were trying to sell him to like another brand. Like listen, you talk about a video resume. Like I want that to be my video resume. If I was a wrestler,
Yeah.
So. They did this thing. They did this whole thing with him, Shane Thorne, and like what's next for Johnny? What's going on? This is it was a somber note. So what were your thoughts on that, and what do you think is next for him? And what, like I said, so the ceiling episode. What's his ceiling?
Yeah, Johnny Gargano definitely deserves his little montage, and I think it was
Better
great.
believe
You know what? I would keep him on NXT for now with the expansion, only because I don't see a spot for him on SmackDown or Raw. Because now we have guys like Buddy Murphy and Ali on SmackDown finally getting their lane to the carve out. I would hate for Johnny to come in and like not mess that up, but have a chemistry issue with that roster as well. Well, about Shane Thorne, I like the idea that there's someone on the roster being like, why are you spending time talking about this guy? It's me. But it's weird when Shane Thorne's like, guys, I'm Shane Thorne. What about me? It felt weird that he was begging for that kind of attention, personally.
Jackie boy.
Yeah, as far as Johnny Gargano, he's in a tough spot. I don't know if you. Because I think he's done with NXT. Because if he's on NXT, it's got to be regarding the NXT title. But I think we're over seeing him fight for the title at this point. NXT UK 205 Live would feel like a demotion. I don't think he can hang on the main roster, as mentioned, with guys already like Buddy Murphy and Ali. They've already got that set for the main roster. So I don't really know. I think 205 Live seems to be the logical thing.
Wow.
Because he fits that. But whenever I think of a main roster move, I know a lot of people like Johnny Gargano, and I don't want to get into the whole is he a star conversation. But
He's a star, but is he a superstar?
Yeah. I would say to myself, if you're going to put him on the main roster, who are you taking off? Whose time is coming off? And why wouldn't I put Apollo Crews there instead?
Exactly. Why wouldn't you?
Well, there's so many other people I'd say, well, I'd kind of rather see them on the main roster at this point than Johnny Gargano. So it's not even a shot at Johnny Gargano. It's just I think
Is 205 Live gonna exist in the fall? Like I don't know.
Everyone's speculating. People don't know.
Okay, so it's kind of up in the air.
Yeah. If we remember, when we were at the SmackDown show, they do it at SmackDown.
Right.
So why couldn't they still do it at SmackDown?
True.
You know what I mean? It's up to them, man. It's their brand. If you guys don't know, if you guys never been to a WWE show like our SmackDown, what they do is they kind of entice you to stay around for a really great dark match. So you stay and watch 205 Live, and then when you so if it's they'll put it like it's a dream matchup, and if you stay, watch 205 Live, and then at the end you get your dream match. So it's one of those things where I think there's value to it.
Sure, absolutely, there's value to it.
But everyone's like, that brand sucks. And I'm like, so what would you do to change 205 Live, Flobito?
You have more cross promotion. Like, I don't understand why I'm watching Raw and SmackDown, and you guys can tell me about Total Divas every single week, but you can't tell me what happened last week on 205 Live.
Yeah.
The spots are there, the time is there. Give me a chance to get these promos and get into these characters. So when I wait late to a SmackDown show, or I switch over to the network, that I want to see Arya Daivari and care about him, instead of being like, oh, it's random guy 1 against random guy 2.
And that travels kind of with everything. It's something I was thinking about today, and not to jump ahead, but they had the Street Profits on, and it made me think of, they're on Raw and SmackDown all the time, but they've never said, by the way, check us out on NXT. They never cross-promote the show that they're on.
I hear different rumors about that. I hear that Vince doesn't want them to do that. You know, I hear different things, you know, depending on what's true and what's not true. I hear there's like, we're not going to do that. You know, we're not gonna, but they usually never do.
Sure.
So, like, so there might be some
Yeah.
truth to it. You're right about that. 205 Live, maybe if they promoted it a little more, maybe. They got, like I said, it's not about wrestling. They got talent. We watched that match at SmackDown Live. We were like,
Yeah, it was like Oni Lorcan against Arya Daivari or something like that. Yeah,
mercy.
most of us loved it. Yeah,
It was just good, man.
Yeah.
It was a good old wrestling. If y'all like wrestling, 205 Live, but you're gonna get wrestling.
I hate the fact to say this, but the last time they actually had a legit organic crossover was when Enzo had the belt, because he was cutting the promos on Monday and they had the Fallout on Tuesday.
That's what made him special. As much as people rolled their eyes about the prospect of Mr. Amore, he who should not be named, they're getting this title, but this is why they gave it to him, guys. You guys are sitting in the back like, I go, guys, because he can. That's what they're doing. They're in the back like, I can't believe this guy can't wrestle. Yeah, but you guys can't talk.
Right.
You guys can't talk and you can't push this product.
Sure.
And the product was at its height when he was talking. So it's at the end of the day, y'all can say whatever you want. They need a guy like that.
Characters matter.
Every single that dude. That's what he cut promo after promo after promo after promo, and he made that brand relevant. And you were like, oh my God, Angel got the belt, and I found myself watching 205 Live as well. So I don't want Johnny to get so and so trapped there until they. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know what the ceiling is for Johnny, but I like him staying on 205. I mean, NXT when they expand the brand to 2 hours.
Right.
But this is going to be the question before I move on. I almost forgot. With 2 hours, do they need a new belt?
It seems odd because they already have their mid-card belt and their main event belt.
And the tag team
and
belt.
the tag team belt. So I want to say they do, but at the same time, I don't know what they would add without.
Like what would be their, like, because I think North Americans kind of like their Intercontinental, right?
Agreed.
Right.
What would be like their United States title? Would that bother you guys if they had another title? Because I'm just saying, it's just like it's hard for people like Johnny or Keith Lee or Matt Riddle or like there's not too many belts to go around. I'm not saying they should have so many belts, but does NXT need another belt?
I think it's fine. I mean, if I'm going to compare it to the Spike TV era of Impact, for example, they had the world title, the X Division, and tag and women's, but that other belt, the global, the Legends, the one they kept changing, they didn't know what to do with it because the lanes were so crowded. So it wasn't the Attitude Era days when you had the one roster and like 45 guys. We can say,
European.
Yeah, here's a European, but Midian and D'Lo weren't going to go right at first that division. So NXT has that kind of parity, which is actually one of their strengths. Like anyone can fight anyone in a single week. So I don't think an extra belt would be beneficial.
There you go. You feel the same way?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Yes.
Yo, so we got Mia Yim tracking down Lord William Regal, one of my favorites of all time. Tracking my man got time. My man's time is precious.
Oh yeah,
you ain't just gonna run my man down. That's one of my OGs right there. That's when he's in my top 100 of wrestler of all time.
Top 100.
Oh yeah, top 100. He got to be in the top 100. I want to say top 50, but I didn't really make my list yet. I just know when I say top 100.
I should make a list. I never did before.
Yeah, I don't. When I say top 10, I know top 10, but when I say top 100, I know he's in there somewhere.
Okay, yeah.
And I think when I start getting down in the 50s, he's probably in 50.
The Mackie 100.
I love me some Lord William Regal. You don't just get to track my man outside of Full Sail University. I know who you think you are, me. I'm talking about this and that and so on and so forth. Gentlemen, what say you about Mia Yim, her brand, her as a wrestler, her getting a rematch, her getting the title, her being around, her being just existing in NXT? What do you guys think?
I think she got a little exposed tonight. In that,
What do you laugh for?
Like-
What was that laugh for?
well, one, the way she's supposed to be this tough character, but Regal just shot her down hard.
Lord Regal.
Hard. And then obviously we saw someone else come out later on in the show. Tease, we'll talk about that in a second, I'm assuming. But that was a star. And when you see someone who's like positioned as someone who's a star for a long time, you kind of start to go, okay, I guess they are. But then when the real thing shows up, you go, wow, that's who should be going after the title. And when you seen the comparison side by side, it really made me realize, exposed. I think, if they had a North American women's title, I think Mia Yim would be great for it.
Wow, really? You're so exposed. Look for your own division on your side.
No, but I mean, now that I see, you can see more clearly that I think her being a solid-looking contender was more because there wasn't other people positioned at that point, because they had already kind of burned through Bianca and they didn't have someone else. I think so they pushed her really hard, and now that we're seeing other people come up, you go, wow, that's the money match, not a Mia Yim match.
Absolutely. I unfortunately was not here in studio at the post-takeover version of NXT. Mia Yim did herself no favors in that match. I was cautious going into it. They gave her the rocket. They gave her beating up the other members of that crew, horsewomen or whatever you call them. They gave her the longest in the promos, but the walking up to Shayna and goes, real recognize real, but you're unfamiliar. Her doing the I'm a heel, but I'm gonna be a badass with my weapons, and now complaining to the general manager that was unfair. These are things you cannot go on to someone who's a street fighter, or someone who's tough, or someone who's a championship contender. This reminds me of one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Christian, when he lost that World Heavyweight Championship and was begging for one more match. It was kind of like, for real, dude? Right? You're supposed to be this tough person, but you're going up to your boss being like, wait, what about me? What about me?
Yeah, the old adage in the street is you don't do that. You don't
Nope.
ask for anything because nothing's been given to you.
Right.
That's like the age-old adage, you know what I mean? You have to take what has not been given.
Yeah.
So she kind of messed that up.
And you tapped out.
She lost a lot.
You didn't get rolled up. You tapped out.
Tippity tap tap
She
tap.
lost a lot of credit by going to her boss and crying about it. And the way he shut her down afterwards too. They attacked me. He's like, yeah, well, what'd you expect?
She was like, you got a point. So,
Logic.
Logic can't be.
What do you mean there's consequences to my actions?
He was like, if you don't get out my face, I'll just get a spot of tea real quick, man. I'm Lord Regal. But listen, so then we transition right there, man. All of a sudden, man, Queen of Spades music hits. She comes out all rough, man, leather jacket all up with a goon squad about it. The Monstars with her. These ladies come out, man.
Hit him high, hit him high, hit him high, hit him. I love that movie.
Hey, listen. So he comes out. I think she's about to cut a promo.
Yeah.
She about to tell everybody once again, she's about to stake her claim that can't none of you hussies tie my shoes, man. Y'all, and she has ran through the women's division.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody mess with her. Then all of a sudden, music hits. Miss Ripley comes out.
Like a dime.
That George Flash.
That's
was
what
dope.
Keith Lee should walk out
Yeah,
to.
that joint go hard.
Facts.
That's
Facts.
How much? I'm like, how much does this cost?
The Monster thing.
It probably costs 99 cents.
I'm like, what do we need to do to get the rights to this? No.
At this point, just buy it on iTunes. We'll be happy.
So we get to this moment, and Miss Ripley's music hits, man. I'm saying right now, she might as well have been Ripley from Aliens, man.
Yeah.
She came out here and she was over.
Yes.
And when the second the light hit this lady, I was like, that is an NXT Women's Champion.
Agreed.
I said to Jack off camera, I was like, I don't even care what happened. They got me believing she's gonna take that title.
Yep.
That's how special I think she is. I was like, she gonna win this belt. Even if she's not gonna win it, they maybe feel she's gonna win it. What say you, Mr. Like, because you was there off scam, like, I called it.
I called
I
it.
Flobo. I knew it.
I talk like this for some reason. Yo,
Flobo.
I called it. My song is dope. Forget you, chat.
Go ahead.
Yo, 4 weeks ago, we sat here and said, who can take the belt of Shayna? I
sure
was
did.
saying Rhea Ripley because she dropped the belt to Toni Storm. She had nowhere to go.
definitely
And she
did.
put herself on the back for Piper Niven. So you have this person who's just a beast of a woman who can totally not even like hit hard, but definitely can submit you. She's definitely something I want to see now. Even though Ripley is a heel in her own right, that match, like you were saying on Monday Night Raw, heel versus heel, what's wrong with that? I want to see that match happen.
Because somebody can be more of a heel than you are.
Oh yeah,
and it was a different way.
Yeah, and seeing her on screen even confirms that Mia was not ready for that spot. Even says, you know what,
Yes.
she shouldn't be in that conversation.
That's exactly what. As soon as the lights hit her, it was because we were talking right before she came out. I asked, I was like,
Yep.
would you bet on Mia Yim being the next champion or the Field?
And I said,
anyone else?
and I said the Field, not knowing what was gonna happen.
And then she came out, and Evan's like, "That's why you take the Field."
I was like, good Lord.
Even money.
Look, I'll be honest. I didn't know much about her before this, but just as soon as I saw, her, I was like, "Oh my, that's it.
That's it.
No way.
Like, we're good here.
Right.
That's the next contender. We're good.
Yeah, done.
No arguments.
She could have said nothing. She could have walked out there and be like, okay.
Yeah, and she said that one thing. She was a little edgy. And anytime when you drop a curse word, if it's perfectly placed and quick and short, it has more impact. Don't just waste your cuss words. Right.
Yes.
And she called her the B word, man, and the crowd was like, mic drop. Crowd was like, oh
Yeah.
no, she didn't.
Yeah, she did.
And the way she took the mic from her before she got, boom.
From her, you
Hey. Hey! Dude, Ripley
Right,
says,
guys,
Ripley,
the man.
you see what I'm saying? A perfectly placed swear word by Ripley and
Yeah.
Ripley, and they both said the same swear word.
True.
I don't even know if that's just a crazy coincidence, but that's the part of the movie.
Someone call
right there.
Kushida. Go back in time and figure this out.
Hit me with the flex capacitor real quick.
She was like, she's like, man, I should have thought of that gimmick. It was too late now.
It's too late.
It's my gimmick now.
Don't be mad at me because I don't know your gimmick was a time travel gimmick. Why don't you go back in time and then I know it was? Why don't you go back in time to my younger self and be like, yo, Evan, I'm gonna do this.
Welcome back to Russell
Like, he
Roast.
just hands me like a piece of paper. He's like, put this in the envelope and mail it.
That's messed up.
You're like 8 years old when you
And I'm like, Kushida. I
Kushida's-
opened up on camera.
Yeah, he's crying in his DeLorean right now. That's messed up.
So we got. Listen. So Ripley's box office, man, win, lose or draw. She's making an impact, instant impact in the women's division. Right, it's conveniently right before they go live and go 2 hours. That's why I try to tell y'all about the flagship, man.
Tell them about the flagship.
You can't stop the flagship.
No, you can't.
It's the
No.
Black Pearl. It can go to Davy Jones' locker and come back and still run amok. It can get tiny and get big again. Listen, it's the Black Pearl. If y'all don't know anything about that, watch Powers Man. It's a great franchise. Watch it all. Listen, we got the main event. Undisputed Era versus Street Profits. NXT Tag Team Championship. Red plastic cups everywhere, getting on my damn nerves. Undisputed Era with the undisputed defeat of the Street Profits. Gentlemen, what say you?
I'm so glad that the Undisputed Era won. I am a big believer in wanting the Draped in Gold prophecy to come true. I think it felt like the Street Profits had being on Raw so often, they kind of overstayed their welcome a bit in NXT at this point. We are waiting for them to leave.
Hold on, Ryan. You trying to be disrespectful right now?
I'm just saying it came back.
All right, man, 'cause you look like you're trying to show the Black Pearl and a little bit of peril with the Kraken. Listen, we don't want to talk. Stop bringing up old stuff. Stop bringing up old stuff. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took an L. That's right there. That's WCW.
Took a big L.
That's the WCW.
Big L.
Those are the Monday Night Wars right there. But it rolls up. The Kraken was WCW. Stop it, Ryan.
Release the Kraken.
Go ahead. So, what were you saying, Jackie?
No, the Street Profits has started to grind on me a little bit, and I think it was time for them to drop the titles. I am excited to see a Draped in Gold prophecy come true. So I thought it was a solid match. I was kind of burned after the Keith Lee match because that was so good.
Great match,
so
man.
I was a little bit like, they weren't gonna top it. So I don't know if it didn't top that, but it was a great match too.
Fantastic match. I don't hate the Undisputed Era. I don't think the gold thing doesn't do anything for me. They're a great group with the gold or without the gold. So if they get it, that's fine. If they didn't and it became a non-prophecy, that's okay too. The Street Profits had to drop the belts. I didn't think they would do it on free TV. I thought they'd wait till another takeover or have a special event in between there, but it happened. It's great. Now they can go on to Raw and fully be those characters. Because I really felt for a while there, the NXT Street Profits had a certain vibe. The Raw Street Profits did not. And I think it was undercutting each other's characters, so now they can pick a unified direction and somehow tweak that to be, playable, not boring or overstay their welcome.
So do you think by Monday they're going to be officially there?
By Monday, no. It's going to take time because you're talking about we want the smoke, guys. You can't go from we lost the belts, whatever. But I do think there's some room for them now to like you say, tone it down a bit, dial it down back.
There's a little bit, man.
Yeah,
There's
because
a
they've already
little
been
bit.
established on Raw.
Talk about this for millions of times. It's not about talent, man. These guys are great.
They'll probably have a rematch rematch at the next takeover, but then Undisputed Era will retain.
That's the call up.
Right, and then that'll be the call up. But I disagree on the gold thing. I think seeing them all four with gold would be
aesthetically
so.
I can disagree with my opinion. I said
good.
I don't mind either way. You're wrong. I don't.
You are wrong, Flobo.
You need to have your opinions approved by the panel before.
That's a new decree. I was about to jam out.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know what, damn it, chat, y'all wrong. This was 5.
Yeah.
I turned on the chat. Heel turn. But listen, so we got so they took the L. You're right about I like that giving them a legit rematch, Swan Song. Nice way to get the call up the next show. I do feel that the company likes them. They wouldn't put them on Raw every week to recap something they already recap. Greek
course.
I see them getting a title, the tag team titles, fairly quickly, actually.
On Raw?
Yeah, things gonna be pretty quick. I was almost surprised they weren't in that tournament.
Sure.
Seriously, I was stunned.
Yeah.
Did anybody else think when they were doing the promo they would put themselves when they were doing the matches?
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
I
Or they
wouldn't.
like, and actually, there's somebody that's missing. Who? And they'd have been like, oh, that's right, we're in here as well.
I would do it if.
that'd have been crazy.
If the tag team title were not on Seth and Braun's waist. If it was another tag team, that'd have been great. But it'd be kind of weird that they would have won.
But wouldn't that launch them into the upper echelon if they beat Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman, and as being a better tag team? Being a better tag team doesn't mean you're not as
on
you're
paper,
better than them.
paper, you're right, but
Stratosphere though, bro.
I'm just
Stratosphere.
looking at the Lacey Evans thing. Like she came in, she had a little walking thing. She got up in that division, and then now she's jobbing to Bayley in a non-title match on SmackDown this week. So it's like, well, I don't know. That's why I was like,
you gotta be careful, man.
Yeah, you gotta be careful because she came out on Tuesday and you're like, are you still the company? Yeah. And then she comes out and she loses, and you're like, wow, Bayley like made her look a chump. Yeah. So I feel well, they don't want to waste it. Why waste that much time of them talking and just to have them like blown out?
Tag teams have a bit more flexibility though. You can lose. You can lose for a while and then just come back and be good again. Right. People are okay with that, as opposed to, especially Lacey Evans was just so beat down for so long. As opposed to, with tag teams, like the Usos can put people over for a month and then come back 2 weeks later and go, oh, they're tag team champions.
Okay. Sure.
I don't know why. That's just the way it seems to be. Maybe. That's the way it works.
Whole basket in glory. Those flames, boy.
Oh, Coco Cena.
They said that's no chance. The thing about it is, I don't even like the Keith Lee song. I'm a sucker for the hook, man. I'm a sucker for the chorus.
But that's dope. I like the Bastard's Glory.
So fine. I'm a sucker for it. So if you want me to get down to brass tacks, brother, it's trash. But the chorus is flames.
Chorus is great.
I just turn it off after the chorus. So I fooled myself into thinking this song is flames.
Okay.
We don't got to get into the minutia of his lyrics. We don't have to get into the nitty gritty.
He won't win a BET award. That's what I'm saying.
We're about to get up out of here. But final thoughts, Jack Farmer. Anything you're looking forward to? Anything you want to talk about? Man, you have the floor, brother.
It's another great NXT, and I know people think that they're turning things up because of competition coming up soon. Honestly, I just think that right now they're hitting a stride, and things are going well across all the brands. And I think that because there's more minds coming into it with like Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman, not to go into the main roster stuff, but just everything. I think they're letting things go in different directions than they would have before. They're opening up their mind to different things and doing crazy stuff, and it's fun. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah, two things I'm looking forward to the most with the NXT expansion. One, more the crop of the new women's performers, like my girl Jessie Kamea. Soon. And also the NXT UK crossover thing as well. So I'm just waiting for that too. The good era is upon us, man. It really is.
It should be good. Yeah. It should be good. I'm excited about NXT TakeOver Carter. Like I said, full disclosure, man, I'm not up and on the NXT UK as much as I should be. But I know the people, I know the brand, I know what they bring to the table. I'm excited to see the Walter match.
That promo with Toni Storm and Kaylee Ray, the promo they did
I'm excited about that match as well. Who knows the upset can happen. Toni Storm is the class of that women's division, brother.
Yes, she is.
Guys, enjoy the show. It's very, very early, which is a good thing for us. You know what I mean? British Standard Time is a little bit later, so enjoy the show. I think it's 11 Pacific to Eastern Standard Time. With that being said, Jack Farmer, where can the lovely people at home find you, my friend?
You can find me at jackcfarmer.com if you're looking for a DJ, host, or MC for your live event. You can also find me at Real Jack Farmer across all social media. And I always like to hop in the comments, so if you want to chat about the show later, let's do it.
Yo, my name is... That's right, Flow Boys, at Flow Boys on Twitter, at FlowBeto on Instagram, at FlowBeto.com. Pass it my gory because I have the only Apollo Crews t-shirt. Give it up, everyone in the chat. Thank you so much.
Evan T. Mac on Instagram, at Kogosina on Twitter. Man, listen, I love all y'all out there, man. Shout out to Keith Lee's theme song until you get to the real part of the theme song. Shout out to the chorus. Shout out to Fred Astaire. Shout out to Ripley.
And Skynet.
And Skynet.
And Skynet.
See y'all next week, man.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.